Hey guys, welcome to the video. Today we're going to be making Vortex Elite. It's going to be pretty sweet. We're also going to be doing an update on the watermelon seeds. Anyway, let's just get right to it. So I'll assume you got all these files off of printables so you can see the names of all the parts and also how I printed everything. I'll explain why I printed some things certain ways, but it should be pretty straightforward. Anyway, to start, you're going to take this lower L connector and push it through the front shell. I don't have really high clearances, but that's so that the finished vortex is pretty stable. So how it works is the little notch on this connector holds it in here, and then you're gonna, when the vortex is put together, a piece of filament will slide through the back cap and also this connector and hold it together. Same thing for the connector up here. And so next what we want to do is actually do the propeller mechanism. I think what I went with is gear A and axle A go into this front shell, and then gear B and axle B go into the back shell. So let's do the front shell first. The first component you're going to have is axle A. You're going to push it through the front shell. Next you're going to take gear A, slide it on, and then last you're going to want to find one of these stoppers and just click it on through the holes in this axle. So for the back shell, what you're going to do is take this axle B and push it through gear B, and if you look really closely, you can see there's a little bit of a circular shape that will stop this hexagonal part, or hexagonal, I don't know the word. You're going to stop it from, it will stop it from being pushed all the way through the gear, and you're just going to take these pieces and push it through this the back shell. And what holds this in from sliding out is the propeller and the cap. So for the propeller, you're going to want to take this propeller and just slide it in here with the notch just sticking up. Then you're going to take this cap that goes on the propeller, and if you see, there's a little thing for this to slide onto the propeller, and there's also these holes which you can use for filament. So if you can see, I use filament to hold the print together a lot. I don't really like super glue. It makes it really hard to take things apart, if not impossible. Also, it also makes things very hard to recycle in the future. Not that I have the ability to recycle broken prints or unusable prints, but I have them all. I have a lot of useless prints that hopefully someday I can recycle. But anyway, yeah, you're going to take a piece of spare filament and just slide it through, and that's going to be what holds this propeller in place. So you can actually just cut this to length now. And yeah, now you have your propeller mechanism pretty much done. And to make sure you have everything aligned, you can test it by just putting the shells together. And if you turn this, the propeller should turn. So next, all there's really left to do is to insert all the fins and the eyes. Although, we do have to insert some of the fins before we put the shells together. So yeah, let's get to the fins. So for the fins, if you're wondering why I numbered all the fins how I did, I printed a screenshot of a photo of an image on my screen from the wiki for Blizzard events of the Vortex Elite, and you can see how I labeled all the fins. So for the middle axis, we have 1 through 3. There's actually no fin number 2 on the Vortex Elite. It's only on the baby Vortex. I might make that version in the future, but that's why I have a placeholder for if I ever do make that. And then for fins 4 through 8, they're symmetrical across the long axis, so when you see them labeled in the files, you'll just see like a fin 4, L, or R. And so yeah, let's just get all the fins out. So we have fin 1 here, fin 3, fin 4L, and then fin 4R. Make sure this slot, which is for the engines, is facing downward. Fins 5, which are actually identical, so you can actually swap these. Fin 6, also identical. Fin 7, L and R. And then finally we got fins 8, L and R. Oh, I have them backwards. So before you can put these shells together, the most important fins that you have to put in are 4. It should slide in pretty easily. Yeah. And then if you notice how fin 1 is shaped kind of funny, that's because when you have the upper connector, they kind of sit sandwiched like this. And when the shells are put together, it actually stops this one from just being pulled right out. So let's just do that now. I think you can just, I don't know why I say I think. I drew this up, but this was like a month ago. So you're going to take fin 1, lift it up a little bit, and then put that upper connector and put it like that. And I think we should be ready to put this together, at least so that then we can just add the fins and the eyes. It should slide in pretty easily. And if you notice here, we have holes for the filament to slide through to hold it together. We should do the fins that hold this together first, so let's do that. So you're going to take, what is this, 7? Slide it into left side. You also got 8L, slide in. Do the same for the right side. It should fit pretty easily. I actually had some trouble getting these fins to fit. It's complicated, but it should be easy, but it wasn't. But anyway, yeah, so we're just gonna slide in. Actually, that's why I have these holes for the filament, and so that the fins sometimes would be too loose. So you can use filament to not only hold the shells together, but also the fins in, because without the filament, it comes out too easily. So that's the thing you come across with 3D printing a lot. The more easy it is to assemble something, or is it easier to assemble something, it more easily comes apart too. So you kind of have to make some drawback. If you want to use a ton of strength to put something together, then it won't come apart. But then it's also harder to repair. You know, you just gotta figure out what's more important to you. So yeah, I'm gonna take some filament. Come on. Okay, yeah, we got it. Yes, we got it. There. Do the same thing for fins 8, L and R. There we go. I think that's it. Yeah, you can see the filament. The other side. So yep, do the same thing. Yeah, you want to be careful though when you're using blades in your this plastic. I think it's PETG, because it scratches super easily and you can't do anything about it except paint it. And I don't like painting prints because it's messy. Because I'd rather just buy the actual color of filament. It just feels a little more solid. And then, you know, when kids, like, sometimes when they like want to play with stuff, they'll try and chew on it, and I'd rather them not eat paint. We're going to do the same thing that will hold the bottom connector in, if you remember, for the lower connector. Should be able to, nope. You see what happened is, if you look really closely, the connector is trying to come out, so the hole will be not aligned. So you just take something to push the connector through. Wow. That should be it. Okay. That was actually very painful. Now, this will be pretty dangerous to cut, so we're just gonna scratch it, the filament where it needs to be cut, and then reinsert it. Come on. We almost have all the fins put in. So yeah, let's do fin 3 next. This one's a little bit finicky. I actually didn't have the filament hole here originally. I thought it would go together pretty easily, but it didn't, because without it, you could easily just apply torque here and it would come out. Same thing, you can use some filament to hold together. So just chop it. I don't even remember my own design. That should hold it in pretty good. If you really want to use super glue, you can, but I will not approve. Let's finish off the rest of the fins. I think these are 5. These ones don't come out too easily, so I didn't bother with filament holes. And also, it gets to a point where it just looks bad when you have so many of these things to tie things down. Oh, these ones will definitely need it, which is why they have the holes. I remember that. This is something useful about filament, using it to tie together prints, is that you know, you always have these leftover scraps that you can't print anything large with, so you might as well either print small objects or use it to hold larger prints together. Let's do the same thing. I'm just gonna estimate the length. You know, I do not need this paper here anymore. Let's see if that's right. Let's please. Yeah, I didn't do the clearances that well. Okay, that's good enough. You can kind of see protruding. I can sand that later. So like that. This side, left side. Yeah, that's all the fins put together. We could do the eyes, but actually a detail that I added that technically only comes into the later Vortex tiers, not tier 1, is these little engines. So this engine is actually just 2 parts. I think this is like the main engine body, and then you have what's supposed to look like the spinner or for the turbine thing or whatever. It should click in just fine and not come out easily at all. But yeah, that's it for the engines. I think these are symmetrical, the left and right side. I just labeled it, so I had to. So these should be pushed in pretty easily. Yeah, slides in, and if you see there's a hole in the back, you can use filament again to hold together for both sides. I think I'll do that now. Why not? Yep, there it is. So yeah, these shouldn't come out very easily at all. So yep, all the fins are done. Propeller's done. Now it's just the eyes. The eyes follow a similar pattern as the... Actually, let's face it this way. Similar pattern as the fins. As you start in the middle, you have 1. You go outward, you go 2. Oh no, 2, 3, 4, and the outermost ones are 5. And if you're wondering why I kind of printed it floating in midair, is because I only wanted to do 1 color change in the middle of the print. And you're wondering why are they different heights for the eyes? It's because I wanted a way to distinguish the eyes, so that in case, you know, you have them all mixed up, you can tell them apart by their heights. Oh, I guess I did have it backwards. So this is 2. It's the second tallest, 3, you know, third tallest, 4 and 5. And these are symmetrical across their long axes, or I think it's called the major axis. So you can just use a blade or like a pair of pliers or a wire stripper to remove supports. I use this a lot, by the way. So yep, there we go. That's I1. I guess let's just do I2 next. This one, you're probably going to need to use a blade to chop off the support. That's the thing with these blades is they're pretty sharp, but it gives you a lot of grip from when things are like this, are really hard to see. Push in like that. And then yeah, you're just going to do the same for the rest of the eyes. And so this is the last eye. You might be wondering why I didn't use the yellow eyes. Well, it's just because, you know, if you look at certain pictures, it has like those really like mean looking yellow eyes with the black line down the middle. I don't have that color of yellow, so that's pretty much it. So yeah, guys, we have our finished Vortex Elite. I think it looks pretty good. Yeah, it's kind of tiny, but you know, it's pretty adorable. You have to admit. I might be doing the normal or baby mode version of Vortex. We'll see. But for now, we need to look into ways to display this thing. That's why I have this hexagonal interface at the bottom. But before we do that, we gotta do the quick update on the watermelons. We can see how the seeds grew into the fruit, like seeds do. And yeah, when we get back, we'll see how we can display this thing. This is the one from the store. This is the one that we grew here. Now for the crunch comparison, let's do this one first. So you might be wondering why I included a water mount update in the same video as Vortex, and that's because all I did this summer was play Bloons Tower Defense 6 and some gardening with some water mounts and sunflowers. You'll see the sunflowers in a later video. I hadn't played Bloons Tower Defense 6 since it had come out in the beta when all the blimps were in like 2D sprites. Ugh. But yeah, I saw Vortex in some suggested video with Geraldo, and I was like, that looks interesting. I started playing it. Been playing all summer again, haven't stopped. But yeah, so I was like, Vortex is cool. He's blue, the best color, along with orange and yellow. I was like, okay, I'll make that because I have a 3D printer. I also made Vortex because the last Vortex event, or second to last, was one of my personal bests. I printed a screen grab. Well, actually, no, I just took a picture of my iPad with my phone. I had a bonus time of over an hour. Well, this was like before round 120, but once I got to round 120, it was a little bit higher. So I was pretty proud of that. And because of that, first time I did Vortex Elite in that event, I got 6 minutes, but the second time, I was able to make it to over an hour and a half, which was pretty good. And so I made this a badge display. You get this when you beat the Vortex Elite. I just looked at the picture and I traced over it in my 3D design program. And yeah, so it looks like the badge from this angle. It also is like a display here. The reason I have this interface is so you can actually spin this still. Yeah, I think this one looks pretty good. Also, if you're wondering what colors I use for this, just email me and then I'll let you know. So here's the badge of reward medals stand, and here's the stand I made that uses the interface at the bottom of the Vortex Elite. You can see I took the logo that displays when you first open up the boss event. I really like this color scheme. It's like some retro 70s or 80s. I have no idea what's the difference. Well, I know 80s is better, but I just like this color scheme. It looks pretty good. And then yeah, I put it on this gear train so that you can drive it with this handle. I think this is 2-to-1. The rest of it's just 1-to-1 because I don't know how to make these gears at an angle. Actually, this was my first time designing gears for 3D printing. Big deal for me. Yeah, so you can see just turning this gear, one rotation turns this twice. And so yeah, this will turn the same rate as that. And this one, the gear that you see in there, will also turn at the same rate. And it spins the interface at the bottom of the Vortex Elite. So I'm gonna mount my phone on a tripod so that you can see me turn this a little better. You know, it's not perfect, this stand. I don't know, I think it looks pretty good. I think I'm gonna release a 3D file for just the interface so that you can make your own stand to turn your Vortex Elite. I don't know if I want to be smart for this because there's so many and I kind of lost track of all of them, but we'll see. If there's interest, I don't know. So here I have the Vortex Elite next to the Quincy. Not sure if I'm allowed to say this currency. Yeah, I don't have the crypto in the box because it didn't come with a box. But you can tell the Vortex is pretty tiny, and that's because I've never designed gears before, so I was worried I might have something mechanically, something that just didn't work. And if you have something that doesn't work and it's just like a huge print, it's just a waste of plastic. So Yeah, that's why it's really tiny, but I think it looks pretty adorable. I can scale it up in the future if you'd like. So yeah, if you want to see more bosses or monkeys in the future, just let me know. This was a lot of fun, so I'll definitely do it again. Although I have a Lunarius right here. I think this one looks pretty cute. This one was a lot more complicated to make, but I'll probably make a tutorial in the future. See, it has the same interface. But yeah, so I hope you liked the video. Goodbye.